Welcome back to the First Trade. According to the USDA, more than 11 million children live in food insecure homes. This means that children in these homes don't have enough food to live a healthy life. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, the situation has only worsened, especially as schools remain closed. In our Road to Recovery, sponsored by Wells Fargo, we're taking a look at the issue, and joining us now is Lisa Davis. She is Senior Vice President at No Kid Hungry. Lisa, good to see you this morning. How do we start bringing about change to reverse this very troubling situation in the country?
Yeah, Brian, thank you for having me on and for bringing attention to the very serious problem and growing problem of child hunger. What we need right now is for Congress to take action. The combination of a health pandemic, an economic recession that's bigger than any most of us have seen in our lifetimes, and rising food prices have created a perfect storm impacting low-income families. And as a result, in June, 14 million kids didn't have enough to eat in the 7 days preceding the survey that found that data. We've gone from being on a pathway to end childhood hunger. Last year, it was the lowest rate it's ever been, to a situation right now where some studies say 1 in 4 kids faces hunger this year. So we need Congress to take action and do several things. Temporarily increase SNAP benefits, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which gives families money that they can use to buy food. We need them to extend a program called Pandemic EBT that provides families whose kids are normally eating free and reduced price meals at school with the value of those meals when schools are closed, and to make sure that our schools, our food banks, our YMCAs, our churches have flexibility and the tools so that they can continue to do the great job that they have been getting emergency food to kids and families. And we need to do it now. Kids are going hungry and they can't afford to miss those meals, and we can't afford to wait as a nation.
Lisa, organizations like yours, they're at No Kid Hungry. You also rely on the charity of donors and large events throughout the year to raise awareness, to raise much needed funds, and to raise food. How is that going now that we cannot come together in a meaningful way because of the pandemic?
Yeah, thank you, Alexis. That's a great question. There's a lot of bad news in the world right now. I think one of the things that my team and I are really grateful for is how many amazing individuals and corporations have stepped up to help us be able to feed kids in the community. Companies like Grubhub, Chrysler, so many others, Verizon, generous individuals. As a result, we have been able to push out $25 million in grants to support schools and community organizations in every state, and many communities that are on the ground working every day to feed kids.
And should be noted quickly, Verizon is the parent company of Yahoo Finance. Lisa, I originally came in contact with No Kid Hungry through my work and dealings with the Shake Shack team. But you also partner with a company like Walmart, which is the largest grocer in the United States. What role have they played in helping address the situation?
Yeah, so we work with the Walmart Foundation, which is separate from the company. And I think Walmart has really played an important role on a few fronts. In addition to their philanthropic work, supporting organizations that are out there fighting hunger in all kinds of communities, Walmart has been one of the companies that has been working with USDA in a number of states to ramp up what was a pilot program on online grocery delivery, allowing people to use their SNAP benefit. So that's helping expand access, so that families that are struggling have the same opportunity to have groceries delivered as you and I might. I think they've also donated a lot of food and other supplies to food banks and charities. And I think, again, we have been so gratified to see so many corporations in so many different sectors really stepping up and saying it's absolutely unacceptable that we have kids that are missing meals and families that can't feed their kids in the midst of all of this.
What has the supply of food at these food banks been like? Has that been yet another obstacle for organizations like yours, or are you well stocked?
Well, we don't actually distribute food. We work with schools and food banks and community organizations and help support their work by providing grants to expand it, lots of technical assistance and best practices. We do a lot of advocacy. We have been really working to make sure that families who are struggling know where they can go to get a meal. So if you text food or Comida to 877-877, you'll get texted back with where there are locations in your community. But what we're hearing from our partners on the ground is that, you know, shortages of food exist in many communities. At the same time, more families are going and turning to their food banks. A lot of our school partners who have been true heroes, moving from a cafeteria based meal model to, you know, drive up and pick up meals literally over a weekend when schools started shutting down, are facing challenges sometimes getting the PPE they need, getting different kinds of food that are easier to distribute, more single size food than the bats of food you'd be making if you were serving 1,000 kids in the cafeteria. And so there are a lot of supply chain challenges on the ground that we're trying to work with them to help navigate through. But as important as all of the work that we're doing is, we cannot scale it and reach all of the kids we need unless Congress takes action. We need to make sure that those first responders on the ground that are feeding kids and families and seeing just heartbreaking increased need have the flexibilities that they need to move to models that are safer in a pandemic and the funding to fuel those models.
Well said. Now let's leave it there. Lisa Davis, Senior Vice President at No Kid Hungry. Really appreciate everything you're doing. Stay safe and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, you guys too, and thanks for having me on.